Okay, good morning, everyone. Today's topic is placement strategies, and specifically when we talk about placement, we are going to talk about the absolutely new, exciting new wholesale customer. And when they first came out with the wholesale customer, I had to do a lot of research and background work on exactly how to use this, so this has been really good for me to learn as well. I have to tell you, I started making a PowerPoint on this, and then I found one from another blue diamond. Heather Patnod made one, and so I stopped using mine and completely went to her. So if this looks familiar to you or anybody else who's watching it, I got it from Heather Patnod. So thank you, Heather, for sharing with us. I did make it my own. I just used her own pictures. So there you go. So let's jump right into this. There's a lot of information, and I am excited. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the difference between the wholesale customer versus the wellness advocate. I know there's been a lot of questions from several people, including myself. So let's answer those questions. So first of all, the new wholesale customer. These are the fun little perks that go along with that. They pay the $35 enrollment fee or a kit, just like anybody else. They pay the $25 renewal fee with the free oil, again, just like the rest of us. They have access to all the specials, the loyalty rewards program. They get the percentages, the shipping points, and the 25% off the products. They cannot have anyone placed under them in their structure. That's one of the biggest differences with wholesale customers. They can simply be placed somewhere, but nobody can be placed under them. So that's why the strategy in using a wholesale customer is pretty important. They can impact your rank and your power of 3. So notice you can place them somewhere. If they're on loyalty rewards, you can place them somewhere for a power of 3. They just do not help for any, you can't place anybody under them. So it would only help for the power of 3. And if they're somewhere down below in your organization, they can help with your rank. And then they can't earn any commissions at all. So that's the big thing. So these are people who definitely just want to order products and get a percentage off of their products, and that's about it, right? So they love the products and they want to use them regularly. That's a wholesale customer. Okay, and then there's a wellness advocate, and that's what most of us are right now. They are required to give their social security number. So when you are first enrolling somebody, if that's something that they do not want to give out, then they're definitely not going to want to be a wellness advocate. You would sign them up as a wholesale customer. They pay the same $35 enrollment fee. They get the $25 renewal fee with the free oil. They have access to all the specials, loyalty program, just like normal. They can build a team, and they can earn commissions. That's the biggest part about a wellness advocate. And they can go into their back office and see all the expanded, exciting things. Those who are wholesale customers can only place an order. They do not get to see anything else. The back office, the graphic tree, any of that information, they simply can just place an order. And then the last thing is that they receive their own doTERRA account, website. So account and website, where they can put whatever they would like there on their site, which is awesome. So you can send people there. Okay, so those are the two differences right there. So let's get into placements a little bit and how we're going to structure these two differently when we're placing them. So let's talk a little about enroller and sponsor. When you are placing people in your organization, it is very, very important that you know the difference between the two. So we have a little picture here to kind of help us learn the difference between the two, and I will help you in case you're going, what in the world does that picture mean? So this is you. Okay, when you have somebody that you're enrolling, you get to decide where you want to place them. So they're always going to be your personal enrollment, and a personal enrollment you can actually place anywhere in your structure. So down here, you can place a personal enrollment under somebody, or you can also place a wholesale customer under somebody. Anybody that you are placing to sponsor someone is going to be who you place them under. Okay, so they'll always be your enrollment, which means you're going to be the one that will get the fast start off of them, but you get to choose where you're going to place them. Okay, so here's what's really important. If you read this right here, you sponsor anyone on your top line. So if you look right now, everybody who's on your front line are all the people that you sponsor. And that's how you know who is under me, who sponsors me. Everybody on your front line are those that you sponsored. Okay, so here's a personal wellness advocate that you personally enrolled. Okay, you also can personally enroll a wholesale customer directly under you as well. Okay, those are people on your front line. However, if you have somebody in a class that you want to enroll, but you don't need them on your front line, you want to help maybe this person get some volume under them, you sponsor them under them. So this can be a little confusing, okay? This person right here is your personal enrollment, but they are not a sponsor to you because they're placed below. So I think the best way to explain a sponsor is that it's just anybody who's on your personal front line, okay? You get to choose where you want to place them. So let's go down here, and this will hopefully answer a little bit of those questions. Number one, you can place a personal enrollment anywhere under any wellness advocate. Doesn't matter where it is. This is called sponsoring them, okay? You're going to place them anywhere in your organization. You would decide, where do I need volume? That's usually why you would place them somewhere. Or how can I help my power of three, okay? And so that's called a sponsor when you're placing them under somebody else. Fast Start is paid on enrollment, not sponsor. So Fast Start is when you make the 20% off of any enrollment that you have. The person above them makes 10%, person above them makes 5%. And when you say above them, that only goes by enrollment. So if you have enrollment of somebody, you're gonna make 20%. The person who has enrollment of you makes 10%. The person who has enrollment of them makes 5%. So for instance, if I place this person right here and I have enrollment of them, I make 20% off of them. And then the person who has enrollment of me makes the 10% off. So this person isn't going to make anything on Fast Start. It only goes through enrollment. Okay, does that make sense? Sponsor is simply where you place somebody. And on the last one, all other compensation is based on sponsorship. Okay, so Fast Start is the only one that is determined by who has the enrollment. Sponsorship, you can go anywhere, and all other compensation is based by sponsorship. If you have any other questions about this, put it in the chat, and then I can answer those questions. But hopefully this kind of answered that for you. Welcome to answer more as we go on. Okay, so let's talk about some pitfalls that we have when we're placing people. And I want you to know we all make mistakes. I could go back in my organization and go, yep, shouldn't have done that. That was really dumb. So I want you to know, if you feel like, wow, I made a lot of problems or issues in the beginning, it's okay. We've all done them. And so let's just talk about a little bit of them for those who right now are working on placement, and we want to keep them from having the same issues, right? And those of you who are going to be having placements later, we'll keep you from doing some of these as well. So pitfall number one, not listening. You would really need to listen to what people are saying and what they're not saying when we're enrolling them. For instance, there was a time when I found somebody, she's like, I think I really love the oils and I would like to host a class. And in my mind, I'm like, she wants to host a class. Oh my gosh, she wants to do the business. This is so cool. I think I want to place her on my front line. I'm going to place such and such under her. And well, here's what she really wanted. She just wanted to host a class so she can get a free diffuser. She did not want to be on LRP, and she did not want to place a regular order and then continue to do anything with the business. She just wanted a free diffuser. So had I listened to her a little bit more, I would have realized that's not a person to place on my front line, and that's not somebody I want to place people under. Okay, and again, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but really listen to what they're telling you and maybe what their body language is saying that you're not listening to. So it's really, really good. And we're going to talk about what questions to ask them, what to go over that will be helpful for you to understand and not get into this pitfall. Okay, pitfall number two, dividing family members. Huge, okay? This only creates chaos. You may be at a class where one sister says, oh, I want to build a business, and the other one says, well, can I just enroll with my friend over here? I really don't want to do anything. And you think, sure, no problem. She wanted to do the business, she didn't, and you place them in two separate places. Down the road, there will be issues. There always is. So never place them separately. Always place them on top of each other in the same line. And the main reason is because you never know down the road what people are going to do. And when there's family members involved, you always want to keep them on the same leg. For instance, there may be a family member who does awesome, and maybe their sister or mother's on a different leg, and they're thinking, well, I want to host a class for my mom, but the mom is going to host a class and she can't really keep the enrollments from that person because she's on another leg, okay? Does that make sense? So just cut through the whole chase and just remember, keep them all together. Just don't divide any family and friends. Put them together. No matter what they tell you, say this is better for you in the long run. Okay, so pitfall number three, plugging holes. Okay, I love this picture because I think it's so cool. So the water's coming out of this, bucket, and then we have little band-aids trying to fix it, and it's never really going to be fixed all the way, right? So if right now you're thinking, oh my gosh, power of 3, let me put somebody in right there. Okay, let me put somebody here, and you're not really building long-term, it's going to be frustrating in your business. So you should always be thinking, next rank, what am I doing down the road? What is it I hope to accomplish later? Instead of just right now, I want to quickly put this person in, put that person in. It's going to cause you some problems down the road. So always be thinking long term. Okay, pitfall number 4, living in the past. I have been here. I don't know how many times I thought, man, if I only put that person here, then they could have helped me build there. Or if I hadn't put those 2 builders on top of each other, then that whole way wouldn't be this huge thing and this small one over here. I should have done that. And I get stuck on wishing I would have done this different, if only. You know what? You can't change it. There's no reason to even worry about it. You just move on. It'll stall you if you continue to worry about what you should have done. If only I'd done this. Just put it to the side and move on. And it's okay. Those are pitfalls everybody's going to make. Okay, number 5, being impatient. So placement is something that from the very beginning even till now is one of the hardest decisions to make. Truly, if I look back and go, wow, I wish I would have done that differently. And really it's because I was impatient. If I would have just learned, you know what, this is going to take time to figure out. You never really know what somebody's going to do. You kind of have to be patient and let them learn on their own, kind of figure out how this all works before you want to say, okay, let's do this, and let's do this, and make sure that you're doing that. Just be patient. I think that is so important for us to remember, specifically in this business. A lot of times people might want to do the business, but it'll take them a little time to learn. So just be patient about and just keep moving on. Pitfall number 6, focusing only on your leaders and your builders. If you have, say, 3 frontline people or somebody who's under them who is a leader, and that's the only people you're working with, you're truly going to miss out on those people down below who could be possible fabulous leaders. So focus on those who are solid sharers, because they eventually, solid users, they eventually will become your sharers, who then they eventually become builders, and then they could eventually become leaders. So I would comb through your organizations and look through people who are ordering regularly. They're on loyalty rewards program. Don't ignore them. Reach out to them. Make sure that they're coming to trainings. Offer to host a class with them. Do not ignore those people and think, I'm only going to work with my leaders, because you do not know who your next leader could be. So just reach out and include them on everything. Okay, so those are some of the pitfalls. Let's talk about some successful things we can do. It is awesome when you realize I did this correct and it worked out. So let's talk about some things that make this really successful when we place people in the right place and we do it right. Okay, so what are those keys? Number 1, conversations. You've got to engage in some great conversations when you enroll people. And that's what I think is so fabulous about this wholesale account. Wholesale Customer, is that you really have to talk to them before you place them somewhere, okay? Here's the deal. Meet people where they are at. If somebody says, you know what, I think I just want to use the oils, fabulous. Do not try to make them do anything different. Meet them where they're at, okay? If they say, I think I only want to do this part-time, maybe just do 1 class here and there, great. Support them with whatever it is that they want and what they want to do in this business. And that's how you build people and build self-esteem. When we try to push them to do something they don't want to do, that's where the friction comes and issues can be caused. So just work with them where they are. Only build with and under people you can have good communication with. So I'll give you an example. There was somebody who was on regular loyalty rewards member, a loyalty rewards customer, and they were ordering regularly. They also had a class with me and enrolled. There was 5 people, and we placed them on their team. However, they were really, really busy. They had a full-time job. I had a hard time talking with them. They weren't a texter person, so they weren't responding to texts, and I just thought, well, it's okay. I can tell they love the oils, and we had a great class, so I just kept placing people under them, never talked to them, didn't say anything about them, and then eventually they closed their account. And I thought, wow, what happened? And I tried to get a hold of them, and they said, I didn't even know you were placing people under me. I didn't know, yeah. And it was just because of communication error that I thought one thing and they thought something different. So I really should have only built under people who I had that conversation with, and they were very fully aware of exactly what it meant to place an order of 100, how to get paid, and how that all worked. So that was a good lesson for me to learn, that hopefully all of you don't have to follow in my footsteps. Okay, next one, set expectations with anyone that you place your personal enrollments under. So I no longer will ever place anybody under anyone unless I talk to them first and have told them the expectations of what this is going to be like. For instance, I will let them know, hey, you need to make sure and place an order of at least 100 PV every month. That's kind of the requirement for us to do that. And we're going to talk about that. I actually have a list here that we go on, but there are certain expectations you want to make sure that you talk to them about in this conversation so they're fully aware and know what is expected to place people under them. And the last one is wellness advocates. Are they sharers or are they builders? Okay, so users, you're going to put them as wholesale customers. If they're wellness advocates, really talk to them. Are you a sharer? Do you want to just share oils and then maybe refer people to me? Do you want to hold classes here and there but not really take care of people and I will help them? Or do you truly want to build this business and make a solid income? Great conversation to have with people. Okay, so make sure that you move people in 14 days. Set an alarm if you need to. Don't forget about this. If you place somebody and then you forget to watch them and then after the 14 days, they're stuck there. You can't do anything with them. So make sure that you really watch those 14 days. And there's kind of a strategy that I have that, again, we talk about a little bit later on this 14-day rule and where to place people from the very beginning. And we'll go over that right here. So there's two choices when you enroll someone. Number one, you can sponsor them under yourself right away, or you can place them somewhere else right away. So here's what I typically do. When I come home from a class and I have my enrollment forms right in front of me, I go to the enrollment back office, and this is what it brings up right here. You put in your enroller ID, and then you're going to put in the sponsor ID. The sponsor ID, which is right here, can either be you or somebody else, okay? I know there's people out there who do this different ways, which is the two choices we just gave you. You can either sponsor them under yourself immediately, and then you have 14 days to move them, or you can look and see who is it that I want to place them under for volume. My strategy is that I always place them under somebody else where I need volume. However, when I'm going to do that, I always communicate with the person that I'm going to do that with. Okay, so I will text them, call them, and say, hey, I just got an enrollment. And again, this is going to be somebody who's building the business, who's actually working, and I'm going to have that communication with them, or I'm not going to do it. And I will tell them, I'm going to put this person directly under you. We're going to watch them for 14 days. If they decide that maybe I want to do this as a business, you have 14 days to move them to a place that might be better met for them. So there's two ways to do that. Either way, just watch those 14 days to make sure that you are placing them in the right place that works best for them. Okay, and then this is the back office where you would be doing that at. Okay, when you're placing somebody, make sure you keep your rank worksheet right in front of you. This helps you really keep on top of your goals and to know where you're headed. If you don't know where you're headed, it doesn't really matter where you're going, right? Have you heard that quote before? So let's see, what is that? If you ask a question, what path should I take? And the answer is, well, if you don't know where you're going, it doesn't really matter what path you take. So if you keep that rank worksheet right in front of you, so you know, okay, I really want to build this leg, so this might be great for the volume over here, or this person needs another builder to help them out. That might be a better place to put them. Keep that rank worksheet right in front of you. Where is it you're moving? And let me show you what that means. This is a platinum rank worksheet, and you can have any in front of you. However, I highly recommend that you look towards placing people in the structure to eventually hit platinum. Let me explain why. When you are focusing on your structure, this right here, if you're focusing on this, is going to help you build a strong $1,500 power of 3. It'll also help you focus on the right places in your structure to build people, okay? So eventually down the road, you want to hit 3 silvers on your front line. You'll hit platinum with 3 silvers on your front line, which means you're going to need 3 good, strong people on your front line and 3 strong people under them, okay? So that's why this is so, so important. The average income of a platinum, look at this, is $109,000 per year. that's a significant income. So this is a really, really good one to focus on. Now, some people might say, well, I want to focus on diamond. Fabulous. You have to hit platinum before you hit diamond. So if you decide that maybe I want to put, 4 builders on my front line and then work towards that, I do not recommend it. Let me tell you why. If you decide that you want to put 4 builders on your front line, you miss the ranks in between, because it takes 3 premiers to hit gold. It takes 3 silvers to hit platinum. If you have somebody out over here that's taking away the volume from these 3 legs, it will take you longer to hit those ranks. So you will not hit gold as fast, you will not hit platinum as fast, because you're concentrating on diamond. So make sure that you've got this in place and that you're building these 3 frontline leaders and these 3 underneath them to be your strong legs. And this is going to help us as we're knowing where to place our wholesale customers, okay? So this is really, really important. Okay, there's a question in here. Didn't realize you could place someone and then change them. I thought once you put them under a sponsor other than yourself, that is it. I learned something valuable today. Thank you. Oh, good. I'm glad you put that on there. And we will, again, we're going to talk about it at the end, because there's really something very exciting about moving people. So these are the key spots to placing your builders. And I think it's really huge for you to make sure you're mapping this out, okay? I actually do this on a whiteboard, but my whiteboard is a huge mess right now. You'd see everything on there, might confuse you. So we're going to use this for right now. So these are the key places that you're going to put your leaders, okay? So number 1, as we talked on the last one, key leaders on your front line that you're going to eventually help build to silver. And then there's 3 key leaders that you want to build to elite, okay? So when you are placing your wellness advocates, these are the key places right there that you're going to put them. Those are the places to fill in. You do not want to have any wholesale customers under this spot. And there may be a question you're asking, like, well, what if I don't have any leaders and I only have wholesale customers in the beginning? We're going to talk about that right after this. So hold on to that question, okay? So if you have some builders that you're trying to place, this is the key conversation you need to have with them. Number 1, will you be placing an LRP order? In order for you to be in this spot, you need to place at least, and I say 125 PV every single month, okay? And I'll even tell them, give it a year of doing that, because if after a year you decide this isn't for me, then we have the option of saying, you know what, this didn't work out, and I can actually replace you with somebody. Again, we'll talk about how to do that. So loyalty rewards program, if they're not willing to be on a loyalty rewards program, then this is not a person you want to plug into any of these spots, okay? Referrals, even if they're just a sharer, if they're willing to give you referrals and send people to you that you can help, that's awesome. As long as they're placing a loyalty rewards order and they're going to be a great share that gives you referrals, this is a good spot for one of these 3, because those are the ones who eventually turn into good, strong builders, okay? They need to be actively and openly using oils and sharing them with others. This is big, because if somebody says, sure, I'll place a loyalty rewards order, but then they're not really using their oils, they're not getting the experience and not the excitement of using those oils and knowing how they work. They have to be actively using their oils. And they need to be willing to share with others. And that means hosting a class or sending people to you to do one-on-ones. There needs to be a way that they are giving samples to people, whatever that might mean for them, because there's different ways to do that. Just make sure that they're going to be sharing oils with others. And again, just after a year of evaluating it, making sure that this is a good fit, okay? I always tell people, let's give this a good year and see if it works for them. And truly, if after a year they did everything that they thought they should do, they placed an order and it just wasn't working out, it may have been for you also that maybe you found a leader who was much stronger and you focused on that other leg and this one didn't do as well. So after the year, it might be that they're like, yeah, it didn't work out as well as I thought. That's okay. Just make sure you're having that key conversation with those people, okay? Make sure that they have a vision of what this looks like. Make sure they know what's expected of them. Very, very important. Okay, think 2 or 3 ranks ahead. So when you're placing somebody on your team, don't think right now and today. Think, okay, if you're right now an elite, but you're trying to hit Premier and eventually Silver, you want to place people strategically. Premier needs to have 2 executive legs, so you don't want to place people just all over the place because you're trying to hit Elite this month. You want to make sure, I need to eventually start building 2 executive legs. So who's going to be my top leg here? Who's going to be my top leg here to help me eventually reach that volume for next month? Because elite, really, the volume has to be anywhere. It doesn't have to be. It can just be anywhere. And if you're not strategically planning out for the next rank, you could really get kind of messed up, and that next rank would be a little bit harder to hit. Okay, so let's do something that I think is so huge, a little mock layout. Get out some 3 to 5 cards, 3 by 5 cards, put down some names of potential enrollments you have, lay them out of how you might think a great way to place them would be. And contact your coach, your mentor, see if they can help you with placements and kind of figure this out and go, okay, I have this enrollment. If I place this one here, would that work better? Or maybe I have this person over here and I place them under here. So it's really kind of a fun way to
have a half hour spent on it
together.
We
have some background noise. If you can make sure and mute yourself. I pushed mute, so somebody may have unmuted themselves accidentally. So if you could just make sure that you're on mute, use that on your phone. Thank you. All right, so here we go. Build your 3 legs. Do not start building a 4th leg, okay, until you've hit platinum. And keep all of those people under those 3 legs. Now, this is very important when we're talking about wholesale customers, okay? So we just talked about these 3 key people. If you can see here, this person right now is a premier by that pink little color right there, and they're a Loyalty Rewards member, okay? We can see that because the back of it is dark, and it's right now greater than 100 because it's round, okay? And you can see they have 3 key legs that they're working on. This one is simply a 4th leg, and it's probably there to help the loyalty reward so that they can reach their 600 PV. But you can see in their structure here, this one is going to be one of their key leaders, and they have 3 legs that they're working on. Now, it looks like this person down here might be one of their key builders. So it could be this person and then possibly this person, and that's what's helping them with their volume, okay? Let's look over at this one. So this right here could be a key person on their team. This could be a key person on their team. Looks like they're very, very close to hitting Premier. They're elite right now. And then this right here is an executive, maybe very close to elite. So this person is very close to hitting silver, okay? Silver means 3 elite. So she's gonna concentrate on this leg to hit elite. So the next enrollment that she has, let's see, where would we put them? Let's talk about this. If it's a wholesale customer, you're not going to place them on this or on the front line. You're going to place them underneath here to help some volume somewhere, okay? Or maybe this person might need some volume down here. So wholesale customers are going to place pretty low, all right? So always work on these 3 frontline leaders, and you're going to help place volume underneath them. Okay, so if you're a brand new builder and you're like, I don't have people right now to build under, how am I supposed to place my wholesale customers? That's what we're going to talk about right now. Make sure you have key conversations early on to identify who those 2 or 3 legs you're going to work with, okay? So let's go back here. Right here, if she does not have anybody, she has no builders, she has no key customers right now, what is she going to do with the wholesale customer? And I'm going to go down here right now. If you cannot find anybody who commits, you get to have a placeholder. And let's talk about this a little bit. Let's say Sue has a class. She has 5 people in the class who enroll, and they're all wholesale customers. She doesn't have a builder. Where will she place them? What you can do is you can actually find a placeholder, which means you're going to call up a grandma, an aunt, could be your mother, could be somebody, doesn't matter who they are, somebody who's really not interested in oils, somebody who really doesn't want to build the business. You're just going to simply use their name, their social security number, and use them as a placeholder so that you can place people under them. And then eventually when you do find your person that you want to place in that spot, you can do a transfer form and place them into that spot of your placeholder. Is that not just a brilliant idea of what to do when you don't have a builder right then? Grandmas are great for this. They like to help the grandkids or whoever it might be that's on their family, right? And so they're a great one to just plug into that spot, and then you can place all of your wholesale customers that way. I have a friend, not on our team, who actually has 3 frontline placeholders right now. And she is actively holding classes and finding tons of wholesale customers and just placing them all underneath there. So that's a great way to use that placeholder. Okay, so let's go back over here. Number 2, placing wholesale customers under those who are committed with you. Okay, so again, you're going to have that conversation, find those who are committed, those who are sharers, those who are builders, those who are willing to place their loyalty rewards order, those who are willing to share. That's where you're going to place those wholesale customers. You also want to place them to fill in their Power of 3 spots, and that's what these pictures here are for. So you can see here, she has one person on loyalty rewards, she has another person on loyalty rewards, so this person's very close to maybe hitting Premier, because they do have 2 executive legs. And then these 2 over here are wholesale customers. So she's placed them on her front line to help out with the Power of 3. So she could eventually, very soon, get her $50 bonus. Okay? All right, let's look at this one. So she has 2 people on her front line who are loyalty rewards members, and they are also wholesale advocates, wellness advocates. I'm getting the 2 mixed up. And then she just placed somebody here who's a wholesale customer on her front line, again, to help with that Power of 3. All right, so this person right here, they have 2 people who are on their front line who are wellness advocates. And you can see down below, that's where she's placed several wholesale customers. So that just gives you an idea of where you're going to place your wholesale customers. Okay, you're going to place them down low after you have identified who your builders and sharers are, or placed a placeholder there. All right. Okay, here's the exciting part. You can actually upgrade a wholesale customer. Okay, do you have a wholesale customer interested in the business? Awesome. Okay, you can upgrade and move them. Now, this is not going to be a process where you just go in your back office and say, yeah, I'm going to move them. You actually have to put in a transfer form. You need to work with your upline on this. But this is a very, very exciting part of this that I absolutely love, because before that, you could never really move anybody. Once they were there, they were there. But a wholesale customer, I know many of you may know this, once people start using the oils and they get interested, they might want to contact you, or you contact them and say, you're ordering regularly. It looks like you like the oils. Would you like to host a class? And at that point, you can then upgrade them to be a wellness advocate. And you can also move them. So if they're not in a spot where you need volume at that time, you can put in a form to have them transferred and moved. And anybody who's a silver or above within the company can help you with that. Okay. Here's also a really cool thing. If this person decides that they want to do the business, they want to be a pretty good builder, you can actually put them into an existing spot. Okay, so remember we talked about that, what is it, a placeholder? You can actually take a wholesale customer who says, yes, I want to do this as a business, and you can transfer them into that spot holder that you just put there, which was your grandma. So is that cool? So really, really work with your wholesale customer. Those who are ordering regularly on loyalty rewards, who want to host a class, who are very excited about oils, they may be your next builder. So I think this is key here when we're building our business and making sure that we really, really talk to those wholesale customers, watch them, see what they're doing, and then you have the option of moving them. And to me, this is the best part ever, because we couldn't do that before. They were kind of stuck where they were, and if they want to build a business, you put them down low, then that's where your business builder is, down low. You now can move them and put them into an existing spot. Okay, there we go. That's our whole entire thing on placements. I want everybody, if you have questions for me, put them in the chat right now. I will go and I will read them and we will discuss them. But I want to let you know that next week we're going to be talking about why do you do doTERRA. This is going to be kind of a little deep down inner thing of what is it that motivates you? Why are you doing this? How does this work for you? And it's going to be interactive as well. So hopefully you get on that call for next week. Okay, so I'm going to open up the lines here so you can see everybody. Come on, let's get this working here. All right, it does not want to do this for me. Manage participants, there we go, no. It will only show 4 at one time. Right, I'm going to go to the chat. Let's just do the chat. There we go.
Hey, Diane, even though it only shows 4, whoever's speaking will move to the top.
Right, okay. I just want to, you know, all those boxes where it shows everybody? I don't know why.
That's a different one. I don't think this one does all the boxes.
Oh, you know what? I need to stop share. That's why.
There it is.
There we go. Ta-da. Guys,
What did you get?
I pushed stop share.
Oh,
So that my there. So thank you. And you know what, you guys, let me tell you, I've probably done 40 of these things and I still don't know how to work it. So there you go. Anybody can be presidential diamonds. Okay, so I am going to go to the chat section and let's see if anybody has any questions on here. All right, so you are in the right-hand corner. Once you build a large organization, can you share tips on how to keep regular contact with them? Great question, because you know what? There's no way you really can. There's over 13,000 people on my team. Could you imagine me trying to keep in contact with all of them? The best way that I have found is through Facebook groups. So I have a user group with people who just simply want to use the oils, and that way they can ask questions and they can get on there and learn more about oils, and that's perfect for them. I also have team leaders who are taking care of their own team, so they're helping us, so I don't feel so overwhelmed by that. And then I have a builder's page, so those who have questions about how to build the business and those who want more information on there. That, to me, is the best way to do that. Sandra, have you found any other way to help with that, the communication? Those two seem to...
The groups are the easiest way to hit massive amount of people. Some people are starting to use, like you've got that text messaging and being able to set up groups under the text messaging plan that you have. I've heard mostly just groups that want to get onto. Some do no, it is still a group.
Yep.
Other diamonds are using different groups and events, and you know.
Now, I do want to say, we don't want to just always be sending them to Facebook. You need to make sure you're available as well. So my key leaders and then their frontline people, they regularly contact me and I'm texting with them, and I'm hoping they're doing that with their key leaders so that everybody always feels that they have somebody they can talk to and go to. Okay. All right, in regards to placeholders, I have 2 enrollments and 1 retail customer. When should I set up the placeholder? Right now. Like in the very, very beginning, get a placeholder. If you do not have anybody who's building the business right now, find a placeholder and stick those people under them so that you have somebody on that front line that you can work with later on and put somebody in there. So yeah, do it from the very beginning if you do not find a leader at the beginning. And most people don't. So if you don't have a leader right now, you need a placeholder. If you don't have one or the other, that's one you should be putting together. Okay, next one. Wholesale customers, do we only receive volume one time? VOL. I'm assuming that means volume. One time, or is it ongoing as long as they are placed? I'm not sure what that means. Wholesale customers, do you receive VOL one time, or is it ongoing as long as they are placed? Okay, Alexandra, maybe you can help me with that. I'm not quite sure what that means.
You mean commission?
Do we only receive commission one time? So I think I know what you're asking. If they're enrolled within the first 90 days, anything that they order, you get fast start on them. You do that with the wholesale customer as well.
60.
Yeah, 60 days. I'm sorry, not 90. It used to be 90. Did you know that? They lowered it to 60. I shouldn't have told you that. Okay. All right. As long as they're placed orders, you will receive the volume. All right. Okay. Good questions. All right. Anything else on here? I think I've read them all. Does this help you a little bit with knowing how to place people? I'll be honest with you, when I first started, placement was the hardest thing ever. I didn't really understand where do I place them, where do I put them, and still to this day I have an enrollment and go, where do I put them? Because you never really know what they're going to do. And I feel like now we have options because we have this wholesale customer, so that if they do decide they want to do the business, we can move them somewhere else. That's huge. Couldn't do that before.
I can give a little testimony that when I started, I was, every single enrollment I got, I contacted Diane, and then Diane also had Jeff working with me. Every single enrollment that I got in my first few months, where do I place them? And they really helped me understand by asking me some questions, and it was just a reminder also to find out more about the people and what they wanted. And I think sometimes that we just have, sometimes we don't utilize our uplines to understand where to place them, and then we sometimes find out, dang, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have known. So utilize your upline as much as you can. The newer you are, especially, because we've been there and we've done so many of those mistakes, or I wish I would have.
Yeah. And we can tell you what not to do.
Yeah.
I've looked in some people's organization and go, why did they do that? And they said they were just doing the best they could. So had they asked upline, and we could have helped them. So please help us. We want you to place people in the right place. That helps everybody in the long run. Yeah, thank you. If you don't know who Sandra is, she's one of my frontline diamonds, and she is half the volume of my entire team. So she knows what she's doing. She placed people really well, and she definitely asked the right questions when she started building her team.
So Diane?
Yes.
The comment that I made before was when you, I've always just, whenever I sign a new person up, I've always just put them under me to give me thinking time as to, you know, where do I want to place this person? And what I didn't realize from what I've learned today is that I could have been putting them somewhere for a couple of days at least, and then if I wasn't happy with that, moving them somewhere else. That's what you were saying, right?
Yes. That I have never ever placed anybody on my front line. I always place them where I think they would go the best originally, and then wait.
Is there a limit of, like, I mean, I know we wouldn't do it, but is there, like, if I place them under one person today and then tomorrow I think, oh no, here, oh no, here, can you?
No,
is there
you
a
can only
limit?
move them once. You can only move them once.
Just move once. Okay.
Yes. And every time you place them, you're going to be telling the leader that you placed them there. It would be very confusing. Like, why did she move them? What did she do? What is that? So yeah, you really want to be very sure on where you place them and not move them around. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a question on here. Okay. Sorry, Sandra, did you have a question?
Well, I wanted to comment about the placement because I don't recall if you mentioned it or not. Even though we have 14 days to make changes, whenever we get to the end of the month and we're enrolling those people and we're placing them somewhere and we're not really sure we're going to move them, if we're going to move them or not, and say you're ready to move them and you've moved from 1 month to the next month. So let's just say we sign them up in October, maybe it's towards the end of October, and we decide we want to move them because we have 14 days to do that. But now we're in November when we do it.
You want this
you have to be careful about moving them possibly if, for example, let's just say you were working towards silver and you hit silver in the month of October. And you hit it, let's just be example of 3,000, 3,000, and 3,000. You had exactly what you needed to hit silver. And you decide to move somebody from one leg to another, that will change your rank that you had in the previous month, because you got to keep everything good to go till the 15th of November. So just be careful when you're moving. Just take a look at, if you move it, will it change a previous month, whatever you were looking at, a power of 3 or a rank, a bonus.
Yes, thank you. That is so important. We have missed out on that a few times because somebody moved someone. Does everybody understand what she was saying? Yeah, all nodding your heads. Good. Okay. All right, there's another question that was on here. On your front line, would you suggest 2 dedicated builders plus a placeholder if not sure about another unsure potential builder on your front line? That's a really good question. It depends on what your rank is right now. If you're an elite and you're trying to hit premier, I would only put 2 on your front line unless you have a really strong third one. But 2 placeholders is all you need. You don't need a third placeholder until you're trying to hit that next rank. So 2 is plenty for an elite who's trying to hit premier. If you're premier trying to hit silver, then you definitely would want to have 3 on your front line. So can you see the difference? Just depends on what your goal is and what you're working towards. Okay, I think your point to focus on platinum is good advice. A solid platinum can make more than a weak diamond. Oh, excellent. Yeah. Very, very true. And it's because we always want to think that we're working right now. So say I'm working on silver. Okay, all I need is 3 people on my front line. And then as you hit the higher rings, you're like, oh, it wasn't just the 3 I needed. It was the 3 under them I needed to have strong as well. So 3 on your front line that are strong and 3 under each of them that are strong, good leaders too.
Hey, Diane, have you heard, and then you might have already said it, I think I remember Heather saying it, is that you shouldn't look at your 4th line until you're a solid gold? Yeah,
very true. I would even say platinum until you're almost hitting platinum. And now if you have 3 good, strong, solid leaders and you're gold and you found a really good, strong, solid leader, maybe you should put them there. But again, I know a lot of people who place their 4th leg too soon and they miss the rank because they placed them too soon. So I still think, because you never really know what's going to happen. This business changes monthly, right?
Good, talk to your upline.
Yes, talk to your upline. Okay, regarding family members and placing them under each other to keep them together. If they enroll as a wholesale customer and you can't place them under each other, right? Yep. So you can't really keep them together if they're wholesale customers. So true. So if they're a wholesale customer, you're just going to place them maybe all in the same leg. That's the best you can do. But here's the deal. If somebody upgrades, you're then going to place them underneath them. Okay? So I love that they can upgrade. Your whole business can change once somebody upgrades. And here's the deal. If you have a whole family, people of wholesale customers, and one decides they want to do the business, one sister, the other sister is going to go along with them, and they're going to upgrade, and you're going to place them under them. That's typically how it works. In my experience, when you work with one family member, the others just kind of follow along. So, yeah, good question. Okay, what if family members are not living near each other? I would still place them together. Yeah, I have family members and sisters that live all over the place, but I put them all together. And I could see if I had them separated, it would have been a little bit of an issue. Even though most of them don't do the business at all, they all help each other, and they know that their volume helps the other one out. So they don't live by each other. Let me see if I missed a question here. Nope, I think we got them all. Okay, awesome. All right, good chat, guys. Thank you. Hopefully you guys.
I have something to ask you, Diane.
Yes, please.
If you, what would you do in the case of a hostess? Okay, let's just say you did a class, and at the end of the class today, okay, you've got all these people that wanna enroll, and some of those people that want to enroll, they're not saying that they necessarily want to share the business, okay? But they want to host a class. And you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
They want to host a class, and they're going to get people to enroll. What are you thinking is good advice at this time, now that we've got the wholesale customers and people hosting classes? What would you do with some conversation possibly at the time before you enroll them? Or what do you think? What are your thoughts on that? Because I know that this is something that's happening right now with everybody.
Okay, so this is what I would do. I would again have a conversation with them and say, I know you wanted to host a class, and you're saying that they enrolled as a wholesale customer. Is that right?
Well, maybe that's their intent. They just wanted to be a wholesale customer, but they because they have an option. Because when we're presenting this, you gave really good options of wanting to share it with others and refer, but they're really not, I don't need to make any money, but they're like, oh, I'll be a wholesale customer. Maybe they don't really know. What kind of conversation do you have? But they're saying, oh yeah, I'll have a class. I'd be happy to have a class. It sounds like fun. My friends would love it.
So this is what I would do. I would actually wait till that class. I wouldn't even enroll them until they're at the class. And so at the class, I would then say, okay, you have now 3 enrollments, so I can place you one of 2 different ways. Number one, if you want me to take care of them and I can place them under somebody else, then you can be a wholesale customer, because I can't place them under you unless you're a wellness advocate, and explain to them what it means to be a wellness advocate, and do you want these people placed under you. So if they host a class, I actually try to not get them to enroll until their class. Is that terrible? Or
depends on how long they want to wait.
Yeah, depends on, I may not even put them in until there's 14 days before their class. I want to have that conversation with them so that they're fully aware of what happens. And sometimes they don't understand until they actually have the class and have people to place under them. Or the class didn't work out very well and there's nobody to place under them, then it doesn't even matter.
Right.
Yeah.
And they can't participate in the share program. So if anybody is utilizing the share program with the hostesses, they cannot participate if they are a wholesale customer. So it gives options for you to let them know. And then if they still want to be a wholesale customer, then we just have to know that we would be giving them something ourselves, like a lot of us do anyways, versus the share program.
Yeah, so true. Very true.
Awesome.
Okay, so you guys excited about the wholesale customer? I think this is giving us so many more options, and it's also making sure that we're having the conversations with people before we enroll them. Because truly, you need to know what is your intention, and it's going to help you out either way when they fully decide what they want to do and what they want to do, what they want to be.
Diane, would you advise that when people find out that they are interested in wanting to possibly share and host class and get some free product, or they it's obvious if they're wanting to learn more about doing what I do, but if they're interested in wanting to become a wellness advocate, that next step would also include sharing that business overview. So within that 14 days, you have a really good idea of truly what their intent is, because they might not have any idea.
Yeah, business overview would be fabulous. It goes over everything they need to know.
Well, all wellness advocates you should be looking at scheduling that business overview after you sign a wellness advocate up, because they've answered the question that they would be interested in wanting to share doTERRA with others, whether they're hosting and then they can see what their options are. I think this is brilliant.
No, I agree. I'm so glad they came out with this. Okay. Any other questions? You guys are good.
I just signed up somebody yesterday, day before, and when I was signing them up, I didn't see a place or I don't remember seeing the difference between the wellness advocate and the wholesale customer. When I signed him up, there was nowhere to put like the social security number.
So you're talking about on the paperwork?
Yeah, when you're filling it in online, yeah.
Okay, so you're not talking about the paperwork, you're talking about in the back office.
Yes, in the back
So
office.
if you don't put in a social security number, then they automatically are a wholesale customer.
But I didn't see anywhere that it asked for the social security number.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, everybody is automatically a wholesale customer unless you check that box. And you know what?
No, there's a wholesale customer comes up first, Diane, and then wellness advocates right below. There's only two choices.
Okay, so
there is a choice to push on there.
Yes.
And it might just be that I was used to seeing the old where you always just went for the top one.
Yeah, and preferred customer used to be on the bottom.
They changed it around. So everybody automatically is a wholesale customer unless you click something different. Yeah, that's the difference.
Thank
you guys know why they started a wholesale customer? Does everybody know? Okay, this was interesting when I found this information out. So the company really needs to make sure that there are 90% of the people within doTERRA are simply users. They're not builders. The company wants to make sure that the FDA and everybody else who's involved in looking at our company knows that 90% of them are just users. Because the 90% who are users can actually say whatever they want on Facebook. They can do whatever they want because they're not actively building a business. So it actually helps everybody all around when our company has the majority of them being wholesale customers. Where before, everybody was signed up as a wellness advocate, even though they weren't building the business. So it's just good all around for doTERRA and everybody, and with the FDA, so that they can truly say whatever they want.
So you really need a stooge customer that can put on your Facebook all the things you want to say that the FDA won't let you.
Then you just can't respond.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
There's the plan.
Thank you.
I love it. Okay, well, thanks everybody for being on the call. We are going to stop the recording, and I'll see you all next week.
Off now,
oh, Diane, I have a question.
Okay, yes, Brooke.
Okay, well, Alejandra does. Come here. Okay, sorry. Just very quick. Shares are wholesale or shares are wellness advocate?
A sharer?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? If a sharer wants to have people placed under them, then you would make sure that they're a wellness advocate. If they just want to share and then give you the people to place somewhere else, then you could place them as a wholesale customer.
Okay.
But you just have to have the conversation with them. If you're going to share people with me, I can't place them under you unless you are a wellness advocate.
If they want to make any money at all to help pay for their oils, sometimes they consider themselves a share, that I want to share it, have a class, or I want to share it and refer people to you, but I'd like to help get my oils paid for, then they have to be a wellness advocate if they want any commission whatsoever or be in the share program.
And one more thing too. So I think what Perla was thinking is like, could our sharers who are not ordering the 100, they're not wellness, they're not that new thing yet. So can they say all those things, or they have to be, because
wholesale customers, okay, we want everybody to be compliant. I mean, that's always the best way to do it. But we're just saying, if there's people on our Facebook groups who don't have a clue about all this stuff, we don't want to get them in trouble and have doTERRA contacting them saying you're not being compliant. That's what it is. But all of us who are aware should be trying to be compliant. So
I also think what she was meaning too, if Brooke, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody who is a wellness advocate, if you want to downgrade to become a preferred customer, you can do that as long as you don't have people underneath you. There might, and if you are I'm sorry, did I say preferred customer? I think I meant.
You know what you meant, wholesale customer. I get all mixed up too.
Wholesale customers can say whatever they want to, but if you are a wellness advocate, you cannot. Even if you're considered a sharer, as long as you have the title of wellness advocate, you cannot.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Cool. So they can downgrade though.
They can.
Yes, as long as they don't have people under them, and if they do, then there's some other things you can talk to your upline, or your upline's upline, because these are going to be some clarifications. It's new with what we're trying to do.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. Thanks. All right, guys. Talk to you later. See you.